Hey everybody, welcome to One Flight Down Basement Beer Tastings. Today we're looking at a beer called Drewry's Lager from McHenry, Illinois.
One, two, one, two, three.
Oh, okay, I said that this beer was from McHenry, Illinois. Here's the beer right here, Drewry's Lager. But on the bottle, it says brewed in Black River Falls, Wisconsin. So I don't know if it's from Wisconsin or Illinois. I guess the parent company is McHenry, Illinois, and this was brewed in, where did I say? Black River Falls, Wisconsin. Okay, so Drewry's Brewery, fun to say. Drewry's is a beer brand that is a regional, fairly popular regional beer in the Midwestern United States for a number of years, and it disappeared as brands tend to do. We haven't seen it around in a long time. It was recently brought back, and interestingly enough, it also has some really deep Canadian roots. Which ties into how how I came to get this beer from Illinois that is not even available to buy here in Winnipeg, at least at this point in time. But Drewry's Brewery originated in Winnipeg, Manitoba in 1877. They were popular here up, I think, into like the 1930s, 40s, something like that. Even expanded into the United States in the 30s. I think it was 1936 in Evansville, Illinois, was where they expanded to, and that was kind of their home base in the U.S. And the brand continued for many years. The Canadian part of it was bought out eventually, and was kind of bought out by what eventually became Molson Coors. And in the U.S., the brand continued until about my dodgy Google research tells me until 1997. And then in 2013, it was relaunched by a man named Frank Manzo from Chicago, who said he remembered his father and grandfather drinking. I think grandfather was drinking these Canadian beers like Drewry's, and it made an impression on him. And he found out the brand that the brand name was available, that it didn't exist anymore, and he relaunched it as a vintage American beer. So I'm excited to try this. So how did this regional American beer find its way here into the Terry Isle Basement Pub in Winnipeg? So this weekend I got together with my friend Ray, who Ray's a great guy. I've known Ray for a long time. Ray and I have done a lot of theater together. Here's us looking really cool in the 1970s, or at least in a production that took place in the 1970s. Yeah, I stand by that. We look pretty cool. So anyway, Ray is a collector. Ray's got all kinds of bottles and bottle caps and signage and all kinds of things. Like, you walk into his basement and it's like walking into an antique store. There's all kinds of fascinating stuff all over the walls. And he had a lot of vintage beer bottles, vintage beer bottle caps. And he's got them all laid out beautifully. He's got a whole tray of Drewry's beer bottle caps, and a bunch of Drewry's bottles and crates and all kinds of stuff. And so when he heard that the brand had been relaunched, and it had probably been around for a few years by this point, he just reached out, I think, last year or something. He reached out to them. He's like, I've got all this stuff. I'd love to taste your beer sometime. They sent him a couple cases. He's got a couple cases of Drewry's Lager in his basement. And he gave me a 6-pack, and I'm going to try one of those beers right now. Now, just another interesting thing before I crack this open, I think there's an interesting tie-in here locally for friends of mine who are fans of Standard Lager. Standard Lager is was originated by Drewry's. It was originally called Drewry's Standard Lager. And then that eventually was produced by Carling O'Keefe and was eventually a Molson product. When Molson closed up its brewery in Winnipeg I think it was in the 1990s, they were still producing Standard Lager in Montreal and shipping it here just to be sold regionally in Manitoba. It's very, very popular beer here. just this year, they announced the cancellation of the brand. I've actually got a video about that and another Canadian beer that is rumored to be going away, Old Vienna. I got a video where I talk about those beers and actually kind of compare them to some other Canadian lagers, to craft lagers, to see if there was much of a difference between them. I hate giving spoilers and everything, but I got to tell you, Standard really stood out. It was a really, really good beer. And me always being a craft beer snob, I didn't think, Standard, how good can it be? It was really good. It's a really nice, crisp lager. Kind of sad to see it go. And one more local connection. Drewry's also has a connection to Lake of the Woods Brewing, which I've got my hoodie on here from Lake of the Woods Brewing. Lake of the Woods was originally like part of that as well. So the Lake of the Woods Brewing in Kenora, Ontario, which is about 2 hours away from Winnipeg. Their history connects back to Drewry's as well. So Drewry's, feel like it's got a lot of history for me in my part of the world. So I'm really excited to try this. I think that's enough talking. Let's crack this open and give it a try. I got to walk over to the wall here. Yeah, I know. I know I have other bottle openers, but when you've got one of these wall-mounted ones and you mostly drink from cans, it's exciting to get to use this every once in a while. So here we go. All right, a little bubble with some gun smoke caught inside. That's that bubble don't want to go anywhere. There we go. And oddly enough, I actually have a bit of Drewry's glassware. Ray gave me a couple sample glasses because he's got so much Drewry stuff in his home. He felt quite comfortable to part with this and let me have a couple glasses as well. So I really appreciate this, Ray. This is visiting your basement, seeing all the history and everything, talking beer with you, and now getting to try this beer. I'm so thankful for this. I hope this beer lives up to all this hype that it has, at least inside my head. All right, here we go. Obviously, I'm not fitting this whole beer into my sample glass. Well, can you hear that carbonation? This is nice and loud and bubbly. You can hear the ocean talking to me in there. On the nose, getting a little bit of a bready note on there. I was going to say it was nondescript overall, but no, there's a little bit of a nice bready note. I mean, it smells like an American lager, which is, I should also say, what was the alcohol? 4% alcohol by volume, which I think is more common in your American lagers, whereas Canadian lagers, it's usually 5. It smells good. Let's go in for a taste. All right. Really nice and crisp up front. It's got a little bit of a spicy kick to it. I don't know what that is. It's really, really crisp on that first sip. And then it settles into something very, very smooth. The mouthfeel on this is quite smooth. It's pretty tasty. I could see throwing a few of these back quite easily. This feels like the kind of beer you would enjoy in a dive bar in a small American town with a name like Black River Falls, Wisconsin. It's like, if I'm going somewhere where there's like a big craft beer scene, I'm probably not seeking this out there. But you know what? If I'm hitting like a dive bar in the Midwest and they've got this, I would definitely order one. Just want to check out their website. I just want to look at their beers. I know they don't have like a huge variety of different kinds of beers, but they do have a genuine Bock, as well as this traditional lager and Drewry's Easy Ale. But let's see where in the U.S. this is available. Where to buy. Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So I don't know if this is going to be available here in Canada at all. in his chats with the folks at Drewry's, Ray did say that they are interested in the market here, especially in Manitoba, where we've got like the original history of the place, where it all began, and also like our connection to Standard and everybody's love of Standard. And if you could come back and say, yeah, we're the ones who made that beer that you loved for all these years, that could really do well here. Hey everybody, I just wanted to give you a quick update here. This video was filmed like a couple weeks ago, and in that time, like just in the last few days, Drewry's has become available at least one beer store in Winnipeg. So I'm assuming a rollout in Canada is going to happen. I will have more on this soon. I'm going to revisit this topic real soon, because I believe at least one of the other varieties will be available here as well. Cheers, everybody. Talk to you all real soon.
Again, I'm tired and I need to go home.